patriot par excellence, Carl Swenson, who was in the Georgia courtroom today with Judge Mali of the matter of Mr. Barack Hussein Obama and his eligibility to serve as U.S. president, and whether or not he should be on the Georgia ballot in this upcoming 2012 election. And this case has been carried forward by Carl Swenson, his attorney Mark Hatfield, and others who have stood for the American cause. Carl Swenson, welcome to the Manning Report again today.
Pastor Manning, glad to be back.
Well, listen, it's a joy to hear your voice, but let's get right to the issue here now. You were in that courtroom today on this very historic day, January the 26th, the year 2012. Could you tell us what happened in that courtroom today regarding the matter whether Obama should be on the Georgia ballot in 2012?
Okay. When the time arrived, when the time came at 9 o'clock, the defense for Barack Obama had not appeared in court. They did not want to fight this battle. We, that's Kevin Powell, Mark Hatfield, and myself, were prepared to fight the battle based on the ineligibility of Barack, based on his father being a foreign national. So that meant he was not a natural-born citizen and not qualified to be on our ballot. They did not want to argue that. They have always had fun just getting rid of Miss Tate because she's been doing the birth certificate issue.
Right. That's right.
But we were going to fight them on the NBC issue. And not just was it going to be Mark and Kevin and I. Also, David Weldon was represented by Van Irian, and he was fighting the same battle. Jablonski, who was the defense counsel in this case, was sending letters last night to the Secretary of State, to the governor, and anybody he could to say, please don't have this trial. We don't want to have this trial. Please don't have this trial.
Why do you think Obama did not at least have his attorney appear today? What is it that they are afraid of? I mean, we all know he's ineligible, but what is it that they are so afraid of?
They're afraid of exactly what transpired today. Their only hope was that the judge would just immediately suspend the trials and give us a default judgment. But we were not going to be satisfied with that. So here's what happened. The judge pulled the lawyers into chambers, and he talked to them and said that, he was just going to enter a default judgment. And my lawyer and David Weldon's lawyer, along with Orly Tace, all said, hold on a second, Judge. All of the documentation, all of the evidence that we have needs to be on the court record.
Yes.
So he said, okay, I will agree to that. You can enter all of your evidence in. We'll still get a default judgment. But what that means is that, if they can even appeal a default judgment, they'll have to do so based on the merits, which are the evidence provided to prove that he's not a natural-born citizen. And they don't want to do that.
Would you, for our audience, Carl, would you give us a bit of an outline of the evidence stated in your motion or in your affidavit that is now a part, and I believe this will be the first of anything entered into any court records of note. Would you tell us what those things are that are now a part of the official record of the Atlanta court?
Okay. First and foremost, we had to start and determine, because there's no evidence out there that the candidate that's sitting in the Oval Office right now is who he says he is. We just don't know. And you know that for a fact, Pastor Manning. We don't know. So we had to establish through other means that he was, in fact, a child of Barack Obama Sr.
Yes.
Through other records, not through his birth. We'd never used the birth certificate as a record. We used other records to show that Stanley N. Dunham was, in fact, married to Barack Obama Sr. at that time. So we filed that, and then we filed documentation from the Immigration and Naturalization Freedom of Information Act that was received by Ken Allen. We filed a 181-page document that proves that Barack Obama Sr. was, in fact, a foreign national and was deported.
Now, the matter of Tim Allen, and I pray that my interrupting does not cause you to lose your train of thought, but the matter of Tim Allen, that was the clerk in Hawaii that certified that there was no birth certificate. And while we're not arguing the birth certificate issue here, but he certified that there was no birth certificate in the Hawaii Department of Records or Health. Is that the matter that you're discussing here now?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I'm talking about Ken Allen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me. I misheard you.
Yes, and he's one that had put forth a Freedom of Information request on Barack Obama Sr., on Lolo Soetoro, and on Stanley N. Dunham. That was a 181-page document, and we had to have him in court to show the certified copies that he had received from the State Department or from the Naturalization Service. So now we have established that Barack Obama Sr. was not ever a U.S. citizen and was, in fact, a foreign national. We have established the fact that Barack Obama Sr. was the father of this child based on documents that have been submitted. So, having said that, now we can go after the natural-born citizen aspect. On file is all of the documentation that we needed to accomplish that in the form of, one amicus brief by Leo D'Onofrio, all of the documentation that and the arguments that Mr. Hatfield had put forward, and those were just merely entered into record because here's what's going to happen. Should the court at some point decide they want to revisit this case that was given to us in default, if they can revisit it, they will have to do so based on the merits that we discussed. So that is all now in public record, and he will not appear on the Georgia ballot.
He would definitely not appear. Let me just repeat it. Obama's name will not appear on the Georgia ballot in the 2012 election.
Well, now, I've got to qualify that. We are going to get the default judgment. The judge has not issued that default judgment yet, but along with that goes the recommendation that he not appear on the Georgia ballot. And we've already gotten confirmation from the Secretary of State that he is going to abide by the judge's ruling. Let's
say that he does not appear. The Judge Malihi recommends to the Secretary of State, and the Secretary of State takes a recommendation from a judge who's heard evidence disqualifying Obama. He does not appear on the Georgia ballot. Where do we go from there? What happens at that point?
Well, what happens is he loses all those electoral votes that would be part of the Georgia Democrats.
Do you think? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So the bottom line for all this is, Pastor, that he's just now lost, I don't know, what is it, 15, 17 electoral votes that would come from Georgia?
I think Georgia has 17 electoral college votes.
All right. So, it's not the end of the world for him, except for the fact that now we have many, many other states that are following suit and will be doing the same thing. And I did this at the primary level just to give people the idea and the dry run so that should they have missed their state-level challenge prospects, they will now be able to do it for sure for the general election.
Let me ask you another question, and I'm just itching to ask this question, but there are a lot of other legal and technical questions I want to ask you as well. And at some point, I don't know if I'll be able to speak with your attorney, Mark Hatfield, but this is a question I just want to pop on you. You've been working very hard. I have been. We've been in contact with one another over the past 3-4 years. Your work has been tenacious. You've had some disappointments. Your work with Lieutenant Commander Walter Fitzpatrick has been, it's been heartbreaking. And you've followed this matter, and you've watched the courts and media, and you've not given up, and you've not doubted one day. How do you feel now? How does it feel to have gotten this victory? I mean, what's going through your mind? How's your energy level? I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to eat tonight? Are you going to celebrate? What are you going to do?
It's just another day, my friends. It's just another day.
Okay.
All right. Of course, I'm happy. I have, as you can imagine, a lot of people that want to talk to me and befriend me on Facebook and whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. But no, I'm taking the day today, and I'm just going to relax. Okay. I've got my office covered, so I don't have to do anything right now except rather savor the moment.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I may go up and commiserate with some of the other people that were at the court and have dinner with them tonight. But that's it. I mean, yeah, it's not over. Trust me, it's not over. But this is the beginning. This is the real beginning of the end for Barack Obama. I don't know how or why this Jablonski lawyer was able to justify doing what he did, because he just slammed the door on 17 electoral votes. Slammed the door through his antics, through his angering the court, angering the Secretary of State, quite possibly angering the governor with his antics. I don't know what they're going to do with this guy. This doesn't make any sense to me, why they would not at least put up some sort of defense, unless they knew that they were going to lose, unless they thought that the judge was going to shut it down and just give a default ruling.
Well, I think there are a couple of things here, Carl. One is that it is evident that Obama believes that he is above the law. And you got to think the way he's thinking right now. He, better than you and I could ever know, knows that he is ineligible, that he is illegal. He knows that. And there are probably a couple other things that he knows that maybe we don't know, which makes him know that there's nothing he can really do to defend himself, because for the past 4 years he has not been able to shake this matter. It has dogged him, and he knows it's not going to go away. He understands that. So he's probably chosen not to fight at this level, which then raises a question in my mind: where does he plan to fight? Because if he has to give up Georgia, and it becomes public knowledge that he's given up the Electoral College votes of Georgia, that could be crucial. 17 Electoral College votes can make or break an election, especially a tight one. He cannot afford. Well, Georgia was not a state he was going to win anyway. I think that's pretty clear, unless there was some sort of a fluke. But the other thing he may be noticing is this: he may be responding to the media. The media refuses to cover this. I've seen flashes on the news channels, all of them today, that John Travolta, the young man that stole John Travolta's 1970 vintage Mercedes, has been sentenced to 16 months in jail. They're covering that, but they're not covering this great victory that you have wrought for the American people. They're not. This should be the story of the day, just on the basis that a alleged sitting president has been challenged in court, but the media is not picking up. So maybe he's thinking that if the media thinks it's not worth covering, why should he send an attorney? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, he misjudged the caliber and character of the people that were bringing forth these challenges. He seriously misjudged us. And it wasn't apparent to him and to his counsel until it was too late. So I don't know what to think about. I'm not going to try and get inside the mind of a criminal. I can't do that.
I understand. No, I understand clearly. I'm just raising the question here.
Yeah, I don't know what I couldn't imagine what their thought processes are, because they also must know that this now sets the precedence for other states and easily allows other states to follow suit. I know that Alabama is coming on board real quick, and I'm in contact with people over there who are doing the same thing. There's challenges all over the country right now, Pastor Manning. So regardless of whether the news media covers this, the Internet, as you know right now, is abuzz.
It is. No, it is. Let me ask you another question, and I'll see what your thoughts are on this. Yesterday, as you know, Obama's now out in Nevada. And yesterday, he arrived in Arizona, and the welcoming party that met him, Jan Brewer, governor of the state of Arizona, met him. And you remember going back a year ago, Jeff Lichtner and others, they were able to get the Arizona legislature to also pass legislation that Obama would have to demonstrate his constitutional eligibility before he could be on the ballot. And it passed the Arizona state legislature. And Jan Brewer vetoed it. No one ever thought that she would do that. You remember that. And yesterday, when she met him on the tarmac, there's a photo being circulated in the media of her pointing her finger at him in a very terse way. And he's standing there, looks like he's being rebuked by her. Do you think that that was just a sham because they knew that this verdict was going to be handed down today, and they wanted to make Jan Brewer look like she's got power by not going the route of keeping him off the Arizona ballot? What do you think about that?
Well, again, Pastor, I've just been focused in on that which I can make a difference in. You know, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that's the way I live my life, and that's what this is all about, staying focused, staying true to the cause, and then letting the chips fall where they may. And that's all there is for me.
Well, I can tell you this. It has served us well. You are certainly a great hero. We are indebted to you for your tenaciousness and for your faith and your belief and for the victory that you have won. We certainly will, America will not forget you. But one other thing before I let you go, because I know that a lot of other people want to talk to you, and I thank you so very much for talking to our audience today. But Obama is a very evil man, and I don't think any of us realize just how evil this man is. To do what he is doing is some signal of that evil. Do you think that he would believe his option as a result of the judge's ruling today would be at some point to push this matter of not being on the Georgia ballot into a national issue where he can create martial law? What are your thoughts on that? And again, that'll be my last piercing question to you today.
Okay. And before I answer that, I want to extend a hello from Mark McGrew, because I was on the phone with him earlier. And also I want to thank you for your work in creating the trial of the century and bringing up all of the stuff concerning the lack of any information on this candidate from Columbia. So I want to thank you for your tenaciousness. You've never stopped. You've never let up, and I take a certain amount of solace from the fact that there are others like me out there who feel the same way and will go the distance. And you are one such, Pastor, and I appreciate the work you've done.
Oh, God bless. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
No, yeah, I wanted to get that in, so I forgot your question.
The martial law aspect, will he...
Okay. Yeah, this is very important. Already today, a major talk show host, a man by the name of Neil Bortz, is already berating this decision, calling the Georgia Secretary of State and this judge and everybody who was involved in this backwoods hicks that are going to initiate a race war.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
That answers. That's all I need to hear. Listen, Carl Swenson, you're a great American, and we give God the praise and thanks for you, and we owe you a great debt. I pray that someone will take you out to dinner for the next 365 days for what you have done for this
Hey, look, I'll just be happy if I can get some people to contribute to my legal defense fund, because that has added
why
up.
don't you tell us?
By the way, if you don't mind me, please, guys, if you think about it, go to riseupforamerica.com, and there's a donate button up on the top. I hate to plug for money. I never have in the 3 years, but I've never been involved in this level of legal expenses that I'm now involved in. So, if you can, I'd appreciate it. But, Pastor, thank you ever so much for being in this fight with me. Thank you for doing what you did in holding that trial of the century. Thank you for always staying with me and bringing up the efforts that I have done over the years to try and bring this message out to the American people. So I consider you a friend in battle, and I'm honored to know you, and I'm honored to have you let me speak on your program. Thank you very much, Pastor.
Everybody, stay home. Hold on, just before you go. Everybody, Rise Up for America. We've got a donation of $100 going out right this moment to Carl Swenson for his efforts and his legal defense. And I'm asking everybody listening to get out your checkbooks or go online, do a PayPal over what you want to do. Rise Up for America to make your donations, and do it today. What's that website again, Swenson? I know it, but just say it once again so everybody else can.
riseupforamerica.com.
All right. Okay. There you have it, everybody. Thank you so very much, sir, for sharing your time with us today. And again, God bless you for what you've done. All right, everybody. That was Carl Swenson in the courtroom this morning, and in the judge's chambers, Judge Malee. I find it interesting that he said that Neil Bort is calling the Mark Hatfield and Carl Swenson and others a bunch of hicks. It's ridiculous, the level, and Neil Bort is supposed to be conservative. He's supposed to be on the side of truth and justice as we understand it. But that's where we are.
All truth, all the time. The Manning Report is sure to blow your mind. Just let me hear